Alright, everybody, welcome to the first day of the boot camp, day one. I'm titling this one Actually Try. And the reason I'm titling it Actually Try is because the majority of the time that you are going for a goal, you are most likely half-assing it. And the reason you are getting half-assed results when you are trading is because you are half-assing the studying, you are half-assing the backtesting, you are half-assing the time that you spend on the charts. So before I get into everything, this is going to be a longer-ish video, so I'm going to be playing some Call of Duty Black Ops 3 sniping clips, because that's what I used to do. I used to post these types of videos. I'm pretty good, so those should keep you company. If it's distracting and you can't understand something that I'm saying or whatever, just close your eyes, I guess, and turn around. So, the reason I'm bringing this out is because some people cannot afford to pay for an actual full one-on-one mentorship, which I do have. So this boot camp is going to be a free version of it. It's going to be a more watered down version of it as well. I can't be giving out everything, like my exact entries and what I'm going to do in the morning, because that is for the precision program students, where in the morning we go over the plays that we expect. We review the plays after they've taken them. I sit one-on-one. I explain their entries, their exits, their criteria, the problems they have. I have like 35 videos on psychology, whatever, and I only accept specific people. So if you'd like to join that, there is an application that you must fill out. Once you fill that out, I will see if I want to accept you or not. And I'm not accepting everybody, because now this is for the normal boot camp. I want you to understand something. I want you to look at the amount of views that are on this video. Okay? Half of the people that are watching this video, I want you to quote me. I want you to quote me. I want you to look at the amount of views that this video is going to get and the next video, and how many views the second video is going to get. The amount of views on the next video is going to be half of it. You know why? Because people, they get motivated for the first day. Yeah, I'm going to try. Yeah, I'm going to get profitable. Yeah, I'm going to learn. And then once they get like a tiny speed bump of difficulty, they immediately quit. And the last thing that I need when I am teaching and giving my all and teaching you guys actual sauce is quitters. I don't care for your money. I've been doing this for 7 years. I've been profitable for the majority of that time. I do this for a living. I don't need your money. If you are serious about it, though, go down and apply, and then we will see. So, let's go over some ground rules for this boot camp. So, number one, nothing you take from me is financial advice. You lose your funded account, that's your problem. You lose your eval, that's your problem. You're a day away from payout, and I don't know, something about this boot camp makes you lose, that is your problem. It is not mine. Everything that you're going to learn is for fun, right? Nothing is financial advice. All of it is for educational purposes only. So, the reason I say this as well is if you are blaming everything on everybody but yourself, you are most likely also blaming all of your trades on the market or something outside of the market. The first lesson that we're going to learn with Actually Try on day one is that everything that goes on in your life is your fault. Every trade that you take is your fault. Every loss that you take is your fault, and every win that you hit is your fault. This is a very healthy way of going on about your life, because if you see something going wrong and you do not try and fix yourself, then that wrong is going to continue on in your life. If, for example, I want you to understand a concept for this. If I am shooting a basketball, okay, and my shoulders aren't aligned, and I do not tuck in my elbow, and I do not flick my wrist, and I do not bend my knees when I jump, and I'm shooting from half court every time, or not even half court, I'm just shooting a free throw, and every single time I'm clanking it on the side of the backboard, I do not fix my jumper. I leave the same exact form. Am I going to make my next shot? Yes or no? Most likely no, I am not. And if I do make a shot, what is it going to be? 1 of 15? 1 of 20? Right? I'm not going to be consistent. You will find consistency when you point out the problems that you have. And when you point out the problems that you have, you need to find a way to fix those problems. And then once you fix those problems, you will then see consistency. The only way to find consistency, again, is to point at a problem. And that problem, the majority of the time, is coming from you. Yeah, you might enter a trade sometimes and your internet might bug out. Yeah, you might enter a trade sometimes and your mom might walk into your room and you have to leave. Yeah, you might enter a trade and the slippage is horrible. That's fine. That's like 1% of the time or 5% of the time. The other 95% of the time, everything is always going to be your fault. You walk outside, it's raining. You didn't bring an umbrella. Whose fault is that? It's your fault. You're on your phone, ran out of battery. Whose fault is that? It's your fault. Oh, but I was on a call. Oh, but I was. That does not matter. Blaming it on something else is always going to lead to more problems. From now on, again, everything that you do, I want you to write this down. I want you to tattoo this on your forehead. Everything that you do, or everything that happens around you, is going to be your fault. 90% of the world's problems you cannot change. The only thing that you can change is what you do, how you do it, and how you react to it. Second thing I want to talk about is nothing in this bootcamp is going to be filler content. So if we're talking about, I don't know, I'm mostly going to be talking about ICT concepts. And if I'm talking about ICT concepts, I'm not going to be talking about ICT concepts that I personally do not use myself. Like change of character. I've never used change of character in my life. I've never marked it out. I've never cared enough to go into a YouTube video and look up what that means. If I don't use it, it does not mean it's not an ICT concept. It means that I do not touch it. And the last thing that I want to teach you is something that I do not use. I really hate when people do that. What is the point of teaching you something if you do not use it yourself? You are a hypocrite if that is the case. If you are telling people to do something and you do not do it yourself, there is no point in teaching it. Even if you know that it's good for you. If you know that it's good for you. Like I'm going to be holding a lot of you accountable for a lot of stuff that you do. Because you guys are not unprofitable because you don't know how to trade. That may be like 20% of you. The majority of you are not profitable because your psychology sucks. I'm going to go over a psychological concept for you guys later on in this bootcamp. I want you guys to stick through and wait for that video. And it's mostly going to be talking about accountability. Accountability and self-respect, because self-respect and accountability go hand in hand. For you to be accountable for something, you must understand that you are the reason it happened. If I am entering my trade and it smacks my stop loss, I need to ask myself first, okay, why did I enter this trade? Okay, did I break my rules? Okay, no, I did not break my rules. Okay, was it a statistical loss? Okay, no, it was not a statistical loss. Okay, did I over leverage? Yes, so I'm holding myself accountable because I need some sort of feedback. Me getting my feedback will allow me to improve on the problems in the future. If I entered because of FOMO, if I entered because I did not want to miss the trade, if I entered because it was about to hit my TP, if I over leverage and it's coming down to my stop loss and I add 10 more contracts because by the time it goes up, I'll be up that much. You are all trading for the absolute wrong reason. You are all going to be continuously taking losses. You are going to detriment your psychology because if that ends up working, if you are in heavy drawdown while you are in the trade and you've accepted your risk and you add more money to your trade, you add more contracts to your trade, and it ends up hitting your TP, the next 10 trades that you take, the next 50 trades that you take, you are going to be thinking of the dopamine that you got when you were in drawdown and adding more into your position. You need to follow your rules to a T. I have over like 10 videos on psychology that I have for my students. I'll be giving you guys maybe one or two that I think are pretty good. I think that should be good enough for a bootcamp like this. The second thing that I want to tell you guys is I'm not a motivational speaker, okay? Maybe if you've watched like TJR's bootcamp and he's like, you know, he's like on camera, he's very emotional because he's been through a lot and he's like, you guys can do it and I really believe in you and you guys got, like, I'm not going to be doing that, okay? The reason I'm not doing that is because I know the majority of the people watching this, again, when you compare the views of this video to the rest of my YouTube channel, to the rest of the days of the bootcamp, you are going to see that everybody the next day is going to quit. The majority of the people that are trading are unprofitable, which means the majority of people that are watching this video are unprofitable, which means the majority of the people that are watching this video are going to click off of it the second or third or fourth or fifth day. As you go throughout this content, as you go throughout the bootcamp, I want you to, the one motivation I'm going to give you is I want you to look at the rest of the videos as you are still watching them and know that the views of those free videos are declining constantly. And I want you to use that as motivation. You're telling yourself you're going to lock in, you're going to change for 2026, it's the summer, you're going to get your money up, you're going to get your first payout, you're going to pass your first eval. I want you to look at the amount of views that this video is going to get, and I want you to compare it to the rest of the videos on the rest of the views on the rest of the videos, and I want you to understand that that is your competition. You are competing against losers because taking a payout is not extremely difficult. Sticking with something and watching a free video is not difficult, and if people aren't willing to sit and learn some free sauce, again, free, all you have to do is sit and watch the video and retain the information. If that's difficult, then best of luck, you can click off of this bootcamp. For you that is watching this, again, the one piece of motivation that you're going to get from me is, if you are sticking around for this video, you are most likely going to be profitable. But take this seriously. And again, the reason I'm not giving motivation is because I do not feel sorry for a lot of you guys. When I grew up, I didn't get, I wasn't fed with like a silver spoon, right? I had a pretty rough childhood growing up. I still had rough times as I was getting older. For example, like I grew up in the 7th worst neighborhood in the United States. The 7th. I think rape was like at an all-time high. Assault was at an all-time high. Assault with a deadly weapon was like second. People going missing was pretty bad. I was looking this up maybe 2 weeks ago when I was doing a Q&A. And I always knew that my neighborhood was extremely bad because there was a lot of drug dealers going around. And like I saw it on the street. And I remember asking my parents as we were walking home from first grade. And they were like shaking each other's hands. And I get moved across the road. Like, no, let's get away from here. And I'm like, why? Like they're saying hi to one another. They're going, yeah, they're saying hi to one another. What I didn't know is the guy was selling him crack. And he slid it in like a handshake. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't understand that until like years later when I got older. But yeah, I grew up in a really rough neighborhood in the projects. So again, that means not only did I not have any money, my parents had no money. Once I grew up, I moved countries. That's not easy. I moved countries again. And when we moved countries, I moved into a new neighborhood. And that neighborhood was also the projects. So I grew up in the projects again. We moved out of the projects because we wanted a better life. So we moved into an apartment. Guess what? That apartment, we could not pay the rent. So what ended up happening? We got kicked out to a second apartment where what happened? We got kicked out because we could not pay the rent. So what happened? We moved into a third apartment. And guess what happened in that apartment? We got kicked out until finally on the 5th apartment when we finally moved in after moving to a different state. Our landlord was barely accepting us because we kept missing so many payments, but she stuck with it and she bared with it. So like even me, I'm sure you might have some sort of problem, but I've never come out and said, you know what, my parents have been through a bunch of difficulty. I have never gotten any toys growing up. The only entertainment that I got was going out to the park and playing soccer or playing basketball. So I lived a very frugal life. I wouldn't say frugal because my parents obviously did the best that they could for me. But damn, like I never really sat back and talked about my childhood or like the struggles that I've went through. But you know when you grow up and there's like a science fair or they're selling, like you're graduating 5th grade and they're giving you guys like hoodies with like your names on the back and like their logo, or there's like plant day or Mother's Day and you get to buy like your parents some stuff, or maybe like a bake sale. I've never even considered the idea of going to one because I knew for a fact that my parents had absolutely no money. And I've never sat back and reflected like how that's made me into the man I am today. But damn. Yeah, I guess I'm proud of myself now to a degree. You know what's funny? I told myself as I'm making this video that it's not gonna be like this moody thing. Because I think in black and white. If I want to do something, I get it done. I do not care how tired I am. I do not care if the day is about to end. I do not care if I have not slept yet. I do not care if I have not ate yet. I do not care if I am fatigued. It's either I got it done or I did not get it done. And this video was one of them. So I have obviously all of my real life stuff going on. I have the rent that needs to be paid. I have my parents that need to be taken care of. I have food that I need to go out and get. I have, you know, business bank accounts that are being shut for whatever stupid reason, and accounts overseas, and my other sources of income. So obviously I'm a grown man, and I have real life problems. And I told myself, like I told my chat, that I would get this bootcamp out in 1 week. Today is that 1 week, so it needs to be done no matter what. I'm delaying a couple of things just so I could make this video. So if you can't sit and watch a free video while I am doing all of this stuff, there is absolutely no hope for you. So if you're this long in the video, 16 minutes into this video, I salute you as of now, because you are doing fantastic. So again, the whole motivational thing is going to be non-existent as we are doing this, because I am not a motivational speaker. If I need to get something done, I'm going to get it done, regardless of how I feel. I remember actually when I was in college at the time, and my college schedule was taking up 3 days of my trading morning. I believe it was Wednesday it would take up, and it would take up Monday. I think I'm kind of forgetting what days it was. And obviously, if I'm paying all of my bills and I'm going to college, I'm basically losing my job. And if I'm taking care of my parents and I'm paying the rent, then something is going to go wrong. So I'm doing my best to try and stay profitable. And I remember it got to a point where my psychology was completely screwed because my rent was coming up. And this was, I would say, May. No, it was April. It was April. And I was trading stocks. I was trading stock options. And I missed the day back in 2022 or 2023 where Tesla fell off a cliff. It was like a 10% move on stocks. So my options contract would have done like 200%. And that day, I had to show up to class after skipping class for so long because I just wanted to trade and make money. I was so devastated. And a rent came up, and I told my landlord, like, listen, just give me a couple more days. I'm going to pay that money back. I guarantee you. I promise you. And I went out because I could not trade, and I could not make any money from trading because I had no time to actually trade, and I had to go find a job. Oh my God, can you believe it? A job. And that job led me to find a second job because I needed more money. And that second job led me to find a third job. So this was my schedule throughout the day. Listen, okay? I'd wake up at 6:30. I'd run to my first job from 7 to 8 a.m. I was an English tutor. I would run next door from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. I was a math tutor. I would run to the next place from 9:30 to 11 a.m. I was a chess coach for elementary. And then the second class came in from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. where I was a middle school to high school chess coach. And then from 12 o'clock until 2 o'clock, I'd run down, I'd grab some food. And then from 2 o'clock until 2:30, I'd sprint down to the basketball court so that from 2:30 to 3:30, I could coach basketball for elementary kids. And then from 3:30 to 4:30, I'd have my second class of intermediate kids. And then from 4:30 until 5:30, I would coach high school. And then from 5:30 to 6:30, I'd sprint home so I could shower and I could change. And then from 6 o'clock until 6:30, I'd run down to another place because I don't have a car at this point and I don't have any money. So I don't want to use the bus, I don't want to use the train, I'm just sprinting left and right. And from 6 to 6:30, I would show up to my final place at a house where I would tutor a child from 6:30 until 8:30. That was my schedule. Not one complaint, not one time did I say like this is too much on my plate. I needed to get something done. Okay? The reason this is going to connect so well actually. The reason I am profitable now is because I have an urgency to become profitable. The reason I got all of those jobs is because I needed to make it work. This video is called Actually Try because you trying is still leaving you unprofitable. You are not actually trying. If you actually tried, it would actually work. If you actually tried, you would not fail. If you actually tried, you would have made some money by now. If you go to the gym, you've been going to the gym every day. Okay, if you've been trading for the past 3 years and something is not working, it's because for 3 years you have not been actually trying. If you go to the gym for 3 years and you are still in bad shape, do you know why? It's because you are not actually lifting weights. You are not actually trying. You are not actually going to full fatigue. You're half-assing the entire thing. So if you're going through the rest of this boot camp, do not half-ass it. So I have a why. Something you need in your life is a why. Why are you doing this? Why are you trading? You don't want to go to college? That's fine. I left college. I left college. I didn't want a job. I did not want a job. I needed money now, today, and I needed a lot of it. I needed to pay off bills. I needed to pay my rent. I needed to pay my debt. I needed to take care of my family. So I can't sit on the charts and take a bad trade because my emotions are jumping up and down. Because my family is relying on me. How would the 6-year-old me, the 5-year-old me, the 4-year-old me, who is sitting in the projects, in a absolutely disgusting, like crime-infested area, feel if today I didn't make it because of my emotions? I clicked the button because I was scared of it not going to a specific direction? You can't see my face obviously now, but I'm looking in disgust. That would be pretty disgusting. I'm not where I am in my life because of the way that I feel. You need a why moving on. I don't know if your why is you want to take care of your sick mother. I don't know if it's because you do not want to work a job in the future. You are not good with taking orders from somebody who is your boss, for example. You don't want to take orders from somebody else. You want to be able to be making money overseas. So you don't want to be geographically situated in one area. Maybe it's because you need to pay off some, I don't know, some debt. You need to make some extra payments. Like going into this, you need a why, but your why shouldn't be like I want to be a millionaire. Shut up. Shut up. You're not going to be a millionaire as of now. Can you be a millionaire? Yeah. But the goal of this is to improve your trading. And once you've improved your trading, you need to pass your eval. Then once you've passed your eval and get funded, you need to have consistency in that eval and in that funded. Then once you have some consistency, you need to take a payout. Then once you've taken that payout, you're most likely going to fail and blow that account and then have something else. The first thing that you want to get out of this, the first goal, besides following your rules and showing up every day and trying your best, is to take one payout. That is the goal. One singular payout. Because you need to touch that money. Take that money out and touch it yourself. Once it goes into your bank account, you're going to withdraw the money, you are going to look at the money, you are going to count the money, and you need to understand that this is real. You can make actual money by clicking a button from your screen. So for you to tell me, so for you to have any complaint towards me is just unbelievable, because there are people that do not live in a first world country. There are people that are in war-torn countries that do not have the opportunity that you have. Sure, you could be from India or Colombia or areas that do not have a lot of money. But if you are in those areas and your one concern is to make more money, you do not have real life problems. You are not in the middle of the Middle East where when you look up and you see an airplane, you are terrified for your life. These people are living day to day. They are starving. They are hungry. They have bigger problems than being profitable. You are trading fake money. You are the majority of your problems is your psychology. You can't control yourself when you click a button and you expect me to feel sorry for you? I'm not sorry for you. So you come to me, oh, I'm having a problem with my psychology. Why? What is wrong? Oh, I keep overtrading. Guess what? Don't overtrade. Osman, I'm having a problem with my leverage. I leverage too much. Okay, don't over leverage. Like, you do not have actual problems trading. You're just a bitch. Suck it up. Don't expect me to hold your hand throughout this entire thing. No one is going to no one in this life, besides maybe your mother, genuinely cares about your future or genuinely cares about your life. Nobody. Nobody's going to wake you up in the morning. Nobody's going to make you a fresh cup of coffee. No one's going to tell you to go to the gym. Nobody is going to sit you in front of the charts. No one is going to teach you step by step exactly what to do. Nobody's going to take you by the eval for you, sit with you during that eval, tell you exactly which trades to take a payout, right? No one's going to get a new car for you, buy a new house for you, get a new job. No one is going to do that for you. The only one who is going to care about your life genuinely should be yourself. So if you need to make it in life, you need to show up for yourself because nobody else cares about your life except for you. I really want to drill that in everybody's heads, especially because you are trading. The majority of the trading space, according to the stats from my Instagram and from my YouTube, it's 97% of you guys watching this are men. So this is most likely going out to the men that are watching this. You will become a man the day that you realize that nobody is going to help you. Like, once your dad passes away, and even if your dad was there for you, once he's gone and you have real life problems, like, you might get some sympathy that you can't pay your bills, but nobody's going to be there for you. So if you're looking at your bank account and you have no money, guess whose fault that is? It's yours. And I got this from an analogy of a dude at Subway. Dude shows up to Subway and he tells the guy, I want this type of bread. And they move on. He goes, okay, you want to cut in half? He goes, yes. After it's cut in half, I want this type of meat. I want this vegetable. I want pickles. I want lettuce. I want spicy mayo. I want light mayo. I want chipotle sauce. I want this and this and this and this and this. I want you to wrap it up, whatever. So he wraps it up. He pays for it. And he takes a bite. And he goes, this sandwich is nasty. Like, this tastes disgusting. And the dude behind the counter looks at him like, brother, you made this sandwich. So when you look at your bank account and you have no money, brother, you made that sandwich. Like, aren't you the one who's supposed to be working and trying to get some money in your account? Walk over to your mirror that's in your room. Lift up your shirt. Who are you going to be blaming the flabs that you have? Whose fault is that? Brother, you made that sandwich. You are only going to get results based off of what you do. So please, today is day one. I understand that I could have been a bit harsh coming into today. But if it's not going to be you trying to improve your life, trying to implement things that actually matter, trying to take away bad habits, giving yourself a why, you are most likely not going to make it. And there is nobody to blame but yourself. So your job, as of today, right now, you are going to have a notebook dedicated for this bootcamp. You are going to open up a page. You are going to write why. And you are going to give a reason that you want to become profitable. There is a reason for this. When you trade, actually, I can tell the type of person you are just by watching your trade recap. And you might think I'm absolutely insane for that, but it's true. I could also tell the type of person that you are by the way that you play a sport. And I will not be friends with anybody unless I've seen them play a sport. And this came up while I was at work. And at the time when I had this job, there was a new coworker that came in. And they're like, oh, like there's a new coworker, like you think he's chill, you think he's cool. And I was like, I don't know, like I haven't played a sport with him yet. And this was a female coworker, and she looked at me like I was crazy. She's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I don't know, you could tell a lot by somebody by the way that they play a sport. She goes, no, you can't, because she doesn't play a sport. And I was like, no. If he passes the ball a lot, then he most likely wants the rest of the people on his team to succeed. But if he's a ball hogger, I can most likely tell that he is an extremely selfish person outside of basketball. So if you are the type of person who, I don't know, let's say you're playing basketball and you have a wide open shot and you pass the ball, most likely when you are on the trade and it is the perfect setup for you to take, you are just hesitating and not taking it. So I could really tell the type of person that you are in real life just based off of watching your trades. So what you do in life has to reflect what you do in your trades, and what you do in your trades definitely reflects on what you do in life. So I need you to take out a piece of paper with a pen. I want you to write why on top. Day 1 bootcamp, actually try why, and I want you to give me a reason, an in-detailed reason of why you want to do this. It is not one sentence. This is not 2 sentences. This is a good half a page, a paragraph or 2, because this is designed to change your life. If you're not sitting here willing to make some money, if you're not willing to sit here and try and change some bad habits, then you're most likely going to be part of the majority of the statistic. What is it? 98% of day traders fail. Again, that number is thrown around a lot, but it's the majority. So please, for the rest of these videos, do take them seriously. Do try your best. Do actually try. And I will see you guys in the next video, where we're going to be covering the fundamentals of trading, how I trade, and what I do when I am on the charts. I wish you guys the absolute best. And again, watch the views decline and understand that this is your competition. So that was it for day 1. If you would like to check out the Precision program, which is a one-on-one mentorship with me every day for the next 3 months, go down to the comment section or go down to the description and check out the application and apply there yourself. And I will see you guys in the next video. I'll see you there. Later.